Oh yes, here we are. It is Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, and we're here doing more work on the SoulSpark game today. Hope you can join us. See you soon. We're here. Yeah, right?
It looks great over here, Ann.
Yeah, it does. We're here with Nana today, and we're sharing a little bit of the development process that we're working on here at the SoulSpark game. And so I've been told that this is overwhelming because when you zoom out, there are frames in frames in frames in frames outside of frames with other frames linked to other frames. And yes, there's a lot that we're developing here. And this is to help facilitate not only personal growth and discovery of what your values are, your strengths, your passions, and so forth, but then to be able to link those with others by putting your profile, your visual representation of yourself into this common community area, and then looking at the different teams that you want to be a part of. And you can bring your SoulSpark over there, or you can add a arrow linking your SoulSpark. And this is, again, still just development stage. We would love to have this as an app. We're looking at working in a Catalyst to get the information uploaded, the projects. This is a structure for projects. So we have the festival projects, Gaia Fest, we have Awaken Dream Synergy and their community network they're building there. And there are different skill sets that are required for different parts of developing on any of these projects. And if we have a commons pool of people who say, oh, I am good at event coordination, or I am good at volunteer coordination, or financial coordination and development, or legal development, or so forth and so on, then we can have this community commons that Zeke is calling coherent loving beings community commons. And there's bigger community commons that we want to be connected with, right? And yet still have our autonomous profile, still have the ability to move around across the globe like we have here on this map, and to be able to go back and nurture our personal soul sparks. So that goes back to this beginning section. And I'm going to zoom in a bit for you to see what we have on the board so far. This is by no means complete. We're looking for people to participate in building and developing their own sets of rules, DNA strands, or organisms, whatever you want. We have an introduction slide you can go through. But right now on this Mioro board, because of the fact that it is a free app, basically, I am only able to have 16 people on the board at any given time. So it's like, you know, we're just starting with what we got, what we can do with what we have. And so, yeah. Any questions?
A SoulSpark. What's a SoulSpark?
Okay,
well, it's what I'm doing, what I'm passionate for, like the projects and things that I like. Okay.
And your values, and you know how
all of these are different SoulSparks.
Yeah, there are so many different pieces.
And are there different groups? Like, is there a group of like emotional SoulSparks and professional SoulSparks? I guess you're able to create yourself basically as a representation in these. That's beautiful. That's incredible. And it's really important because if you have this overlap, then like what you have, what you can offer, and what you need, exactly, there you have a visual representation of what you are and what you need, and you can fill in the gaps. That's beautiful.
Exactly.
What's missing to do this? What's missing?
As well as where you recognize you are right now and where you want to be. So
Yes, exactly.
micro goals to your long-term goals, putting yourself on that path that you can, at your whim, go to and go, I really like this, or I really don't like this, and how can I change about it?
Yes.
What do I need to attract? What am I going to attract? This is about which wolf we're feeding, good wolf or the bad wolf. So my philosophy from my standpoint is that we are in a society that snuffs out soul sparks everywhere, like takes them away, using them for monetary gain and power over other individuals. So that takes away from a person's spark of inspiration, spark of creativity, spark of vitality and bravery and courage, all of these sparks, you know. So what we're doing here is you have an opportunity, you have the option to reclaim your sparks, your good sparks within yourself. And this game is about how are you going to present yourself? What do you want to share with others? And then you can also do a personal spark, soul spark that you don't share with others. I mean, this can be developed in a multi-tier, multi-dynamic level, just as a digital wallet can be.
How does the game work? How does the game work? So, I mean, at first I would make myself, right? I would like make a representation of myself, or that I know. And then what's next?
So we have these sheets here, which are profile sheets, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of rearranging here to make it a little more simple for people. But the first section we suggest people look at is the character virtues and traits, strengths that they're recognizing in themselves that they want to attract and have present in their lives. And then, you know, these are the UN SDGs, which are just a baseline of different current issues in our communities, in our society, that everybody has already got going on in their mind. And this is by no means done.
What does it stand for, UNSDG?
United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
All right, okay, I see. So this is for the broader view. One is
Yes.
Broader. Yes, okay.
And again, like I say, by no means do you need to add any of these to your spark. You can do 2 sparks, one for the character strengths and virtues, and one for the SDGs that you think are important.
It would be nice if people would add these too. Like, would be nice if actually everybody had some of them in there.
Right?
I think that those that you're around there in Tulum would respond to something like this.
Say it again. I didn't hear that.
How do you think that those that you're around, like over in Tulum, would respond to something like this?
No, this needs to be everybody who starts a business, everybody who comes together with someone else, they need to do this first. This is incredible because this shows who you are. Like, people have always a problem to speak about themselves. Either they speak too much, or they don't say the right things, or they say like too little. So just by having something like this that you made, because on the spot people are like, okay, introduce yourself. You have 1 minute, and then you are like, what do I even say? Like, so
right?
better just to show like, here, just if you want to know me, look at my little picture that I made. That's much better. That's much better.
Yeah, how can we get to the point faster?
We want to be able, because what happens is once an individual spark is created, you can look at the.
Can I see the graphic over in the bottom right?
The bottom.
Yeah, the beautiful shape that you made. Oh no, sorry.
Oh, this one here, or these ones
page.
here.
On the on the same page we're just on with the teal rectangles. There's one that's kind of like a cluster. It looks like a cone shaped cluster.
This one here.
Yes,
okay.
This one.
Okay, gotcha. Well, let me zoom in.
Yeah, but what did we say? We said, how can we get to do that? Like, how can we?
Okay.
What you asked for.
what I would do is I would add your email address to this Mioro board, and then you can open the Mioro board and create your profile, your SoulSpark organism, DNA chain, whatever you want. Because there are so many, I mean, you know, it's like, so yeah, if you want to start, we can do that right now. You want to get onto the Mioro board? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, you said only 16 people can have access to that Mioro board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and otherwise you would have to pay and then more people could be on it. But do you think
Yes, the cost of the Mioro application is over $100 a month,
But
and
then,
it still has limits to it.
and then how many people could use it with that $100?
I think it's something like 50.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So what we're looking at is how can we create an app?
Yes, it needs its own tool. Like this is good for now, but like it needs its own, not too difficult, but just something that you can easily do. Like you have it and you can
Yeah.
share it with people. And but that should be super simple to make, no? Because you already have everything. You have the images, you have the concept, you have everything, and it can keep growing. It keeps growing. The more people play the game, the more we're gonna add to that. So
yes, and we want to have the ability for people to create their own images, you know, their own badges. They don't have to be hexagonal. They could be triangular, rectangular, or diamond shaped. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter. The idea here is that this development can go in so many different directions. Like what I showed with the labyrinth in the bottom part of that Mioro board, that's just one game. It's this game here, and it is done in combination with a workbook.
Mhm.
So there's a workbook, that actually a series of workbooks that I've been developing. I have one workbook that's focused on the character strengths and virtues, one that's focusing on the SDGs, and another that's going to be focusing on the sectors of society. And each game board will be the same, only from a different perspective, because not everybody's going to want to work in character strengths and virtues as their first step. And we recognize that, you know, and we want to be able to enable a level of flexibility, level of flexibility so that this can grow and it can become its own autonomous game, in fact.
Yes.
Where it's feeding itself. Everybody who's engaging in it is feeding their community by presenting this in their context, in what their business operation or their community organization or education development process might be.
You could look at it like a sovereign sandbox.
What's that?
Sovereign sandbox. Like a sandbox is an area where you get to play around and experiment, right?
Yes.
And sovereign is akin to autonomy, where you have full control over what you want to do rather than being dictated. So it's kind of like a complete inversal of what we're used to, complete opposite. Like, all right, you're in charge, you decide what you want to do. And it's a bit mind-boggling to a lot of people that look at this and that's what they're told. And they're like, I don't understand. I get to do what I want.
This as being something that can attach to projects, missions, quests, where we can also have public auditing as part of it, because we have QR codes that we're developing in combination with the actual images. So it's going to be a dynamic QR code that people can go to kiosks and they can register if they've purchased a product, or they can even say, this organization is doing something great to keep our sanitation clean, the clean water and sanitation. And this person or organization deserves to have more recognition. Recognition then transmutes into funding, because you have recognition of actually completing or doing something in alignment with an SDG, which has a funding pool for each of those SDGs, along with the independent contributors and sponsors who might not be a part of the UN, but still have those same kinds of focuses that they're wanting to commit to. And if we can, because I mean, right now it's confusing. Where is the money going to, and how is it really helping our planet?
Yes.
We as individuals with our autonomous profile and the ability to register what we're seeing and what we're doing into a database that is interactive will give everyone more tools to implement things that actually are working. That's what we need, right?
Yeah.
It's just one way of looking at it.
Yes, and even if you're just an individual, just a family, like just a family, that's already a lot. But to get to know each other, like that's super important too. Like to make this, or you meet someone, and just to make this, it's also, I guess it's probably fun to do. It looks really fun, so it's fun to do probably. And I don't know how long does it take to do that. Do people normally take a lot of time and need to go inside for a couple of days, or is it intuitive?
It is however you want it to be. That's the beauty of this. I can give you access to the Mioro board. You give me your email address and I'll add you to the team. The first part is just creating that SoulSpark that's you. And then coming back to see what tasks you want to be involved with, how you want to participate with others. See what more you want to nurture, because I showed on the Mioro board, there's a section here that we're still working on, which has to do with the skills, your superpower. So we have this section where we have a list of superpowers and skills, which are your skills and talents, but they're not badges yet. Now, we recognize that other people have created badges. I've been looking at what's available online for templates, but this is just what we've come up with so far for superpowers. And I'm sure there are more to add to this. So the more we can get on there, the better. And I would love to.
When you have the app, it's going to be amazing. When you have that app finished, it can just be like build your own badge. Like you can just have you just put your thing in and you can create your own badge, and then it can be open so other people can also take that badge, or you can even make a badge that can go viral in a sense, because more people have that too, or don't have that. And it's going to be amazing. You can have a little score counter, like, it's going to be great.
Like, have you gotten into Star Trek?
No.
Star Trek Next Generation or anything like that?
No.
Should You're missing out.
Okay, I'm gonna get into it.
Like Captain Picard and James T. Kirk, William Shatner, Spock, all of them. The concept was built for this entire galaxy and universe to explore, right? From humanity out. And the Federation did exactly what the UN is actually talking about doing now, some sort of collaborative template that's all agreed on planetary wide that they haven't been able to do yet. Going out into Space Force, and if we're going to, just like we were talking about the other day. Yeah. So this is directly targeting accomplishing something like that in complement to what's already being done underway through the governmental entities going out into amazing explorations, right?
But it doesn't mean that we're working for the government. It means that we're putting together something that they won't have any option but to adopt.
Because it comes from something outside. And this is so crazy because this vision has been brought to me as well. Just in a dream, this is exactly what came to me, that the government cannot do anything because it comes from a source that's even greater than that. So,
exactly. And the more people we can get involved in this process, the more transparency is created throughout the entirety of the world, which then translates to, well, you can't go behind doors and talk policy without representation from Gaia, representation that's ocean, the representation of the forest. You can't do anything without these representations being there, and there has to be full accountability. I mean, there are always levels to transparency for protection of everyone. You know, like, you don't want to give everyone all of the information about your entire life. If I did that, I would expose myself to being taken advantage of, being ridiculed and ostracized by a certain community. This is where we're coming from with Great Works Alliance and the SoulSpark Game and all of the other alliances that we're building with in our trust network. And that is about inspiring and empowering the hero within everyone. Our vision is that we envision a world where people are empowered individuals performing epic transportation.
Well,
But transformations and transportations of great works. We want to transport great works everywhere and transform our communities.
Transport information too.
Yeah.
Oh, correct. Okay.
You know, just being able to get people more engaged in their communities and improving the quality of life of everyone. Because, I mean, especially with COVID right now, we've had so many people finding themselves on the streets because they don't have enough money and the resources are not available for them to overcome the challenges of this new, not normal scenario. It would have been avoided if everybody had followed this principle of prior proper planning produces practically perfect performance. This is an adaptation of a phrase that I was cued into a few years ago. Instead of saying prior proper planning produces practically perfect performance, it was prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And I'm like, you know, let's bring in a positive influence into this concept of the 7 Ps. So, you know, we're talking about personal outward, building community of ethical conduct, following the golden rule. And this particular diagram was provided by a website called the Golden Rule of Gaia. So special thanks to that website for providing this. There are other religious faiths and denominations that are not presented here, but these are the main ones. But pretty much everybody around the world at the base believes in the golden rule and treating others in the highest of what you would treat yourself is where we want to expand the definition of this golden rule, because some people don't know what it is to even feel treated properly, right? So how are they going to express it if they don't get it for themselves? And we want to be able to offer these pillars of ethics for everyone. These are based on human resource management ethics in business practices, as well as, you know, spiritual ethics. There are other ethics that are out there that are parts of these main ones. These come also from the universal laws. And so we kind of melded these concepts together to provide this framework, which can, you know, go and be expanded out with discussions. And again, about that building of the soul spark and building your terms of engagement. What are your rules of engagement with other people? And then we have our playground, like we were talking about, that sandbox, and we want people to come and play and create their own unique sets of rules and decide how they want to participate with others. And we start asking questions like, what are your superpowers? And so then this brings us into the virtues in action, which is using the character strengths and virtues as detailed by Christopher Peterson and Martin Seligman. They've created this workbook basically to identify and classify the positive psychological traits of human beings. And this was done in order to assist in developing practical applications for positive psychology. Positive psychology has not been around for very long. It's been around, I believe, since the concept of positive psychology has been around since the 1930s or 40s, I believe, as a term. But in reality, we can talk about positive psychology in terms of our chakras, because the chakra system is a blueprint of our soul. And when our chakras are in alignment, we are activating our purest potential. So with each energy body chakra, each chakra is an energy body. And when it is aligned properly, our toroidal field is strengthened and we are more healthy and alive. This then activates the full toroidal field, which is our personal regenerative energy system. And we seek our inner balance to achieve our full potential. And that's why it's so important to have the SoulSpark game here, is because you're basically, can I go back? Yes. So you're basically removing yourself from fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, illusion, and ego attachment by exercising your positive soul sparks to deal with survival, pleasure, willpower, love, truth, insight, and cosmic energy, and to start building and feeding those sparks up so that you become empowered. Again, here we got that toroidal field back, and that's that golden egg that you see in meditation when you are in transcendental meditation. So this, remember I was talking about earlier about the proximity of the self to world, and how when we are empowered and healthy in our own self, and we have nurtured our sparks and can start sharing our sparks and our passions with others. It starts with our family, and then the extended family out to teams and community and multi-teams. And those ripples then are emanating out from the self outward. And yes, they are not as strong in the outer layer as they will be in the center layer, but the fact that we are in this quantum universe and we are balanced, our ripple has an effect all the way through to the outward community. How does this then translate into creating teams and building missions that we can work together and accomplish together? Let's see, I got to take that off. All right. So we've put together a team space development progression structure here. It's the Phoenix Fusion team progression. And all stages provide an inherent think tank method, mindstorming space that we all need, right? for development in all levels. And when we start getting into teams, we want to start with only two to five people to keep micro goals, and the focus is more intense when we have smaller teams. And then you can pair teams up as the project goes further, and it becomes more than just a mission or set of missions of micro goals, but with the bigger goals. And with the virtues in action for team development and fortitude, we want to make these teams strong so that they're not falling apart. A lot of projects fall apart because there is not that team cohesion. And so we want to make sure that we're employing these virtues within ourselves. And that again goes back to which wolf are we feeding? What sparks are we feeding? The good sparks or the bad sparks? The good wolf or the bad wolf, right? And then we can go to the Fusion Forge, which is applying those micro goals as individual components to building blocks into bigger goals and bigger mindstorm spaces. And we have this framework for the team options. So this is, you can be a part of a team as a sponsor, an ally, a volunteer, as an organization, as a collaborator, as staff, or as a contractor. And then we have the team's layout. And then satellites, free agents, or rogue warriors that can go and do their own thing and then come back and, you know, say, hey, this is what I've done, look. And giving that common space for everybody to participate, because people seem to be reinventing the wheel far too often because there is so little interconnectivity. Let's open this up. Work together, right? And then we can work within our communities. When we have strong families, strong individuals within families, we have better community development because everyone has more balanced structure within themselves that they can present to their community in their employment workforce, private business sector, public service sector, education and apprenticeship, medical health, wellness and fitness, news and media. Veterans and disabled minorities are their own section. We have art and music, churches and local nonprofits and other parts of society that people get involved with. When we have clear mind and have a balanced family environment, everything works a lot better. And then we can go out in our communities and take action, choosing your area of focus, the issue that you want to be focusing on. You can work with others to train participants, developing skills, increasing knowledge and building capacity. And then when you talk about defining, designing, and doing community diagnosis, this is something that really, really is needed right now, especially. And then analyzing those results, and then seeing what missions, what actions need to be taken in order to improve the quality of life of those community members and that community that you are living in. And then we want to maintain and enforce action or activity until it is deemed no longer necessary. Rinse and repeat. Repeat the process. This is all very important, and we want to invite people to participate, to take these actions, to build their teams in their communities. It doesn't have to be online, but we want you all to just come and start building your sparks. Like Nana was saying, that's where it starts. We want to help you discover you first. What do you care about? What are your values? And this is going to be changed a bit because I think it's going to be a step-by-step process, but we do want to have some basic information of everyone involved, because you're basically saying to people, hey, I want to be involved. I want to share something about myself with others. And I'll just go through this and we're almost done here, everybody. Sorry about the timing. Thank you for sticking with it. We have some projects that we are currently collaborating and working to create. The SoulSpark co-creation and collaborative frameworks and federation of games, workshops for self-empowerment and direction and beyond. That's what we've been sharing today. And then, you know, we got some other interactive programs that we want people to get involved with. And the most fascinating and fun part of this is to become a part of Gaia's mobile task force. We are here restoring Mother Nature for humanity, our families, and the communities we thrive in. 100% Gaia.
this already came across in the first moment that he started speaking all of this. It's like in you, you're vibrating this. So for me, it was just, it's amazing. I completely understand your vision. I understand the importance. I feel the importance. I don't just understand it, I feel it. I know it's really what needs to be done right now in this moment. Because if people realize themselves, then they're able to do this change in the world and do the same. So this is wonderful. And this is so simple. Putting it down like this, it's so simple, it's so fun. And it's going to be incredible if you can start creating your own badges and your own little, it's going to be amazing. So I'm fully with it.
Yay! Thank you for being here and bringing your energy and your sparks to the table.
Yeah.
We love it. You know, it's all about us sharing our sparks, because we can do this. The world is not ending. We just need to do a little bit of reorganization here, and we'll get it done. The solutions are out there. Yes. Eventually, we want to have this connected to those solutions. You know, that's where the Fed Wiki environment, the Massive Wiki, and Catalyst are going to be essential on that back end for the databasing and the structuring of the education material and the solution material. There are some other organizations out there doing similar projects. I know that Open World has got a site up now that they're sharing for certain projects they are supporting in Africa that are in alignment with SDGs and implementation of practices for sustainable and regenerative community living environments. The more people, the more organizations that connect through this portal that we're developing here, the more easily people will be able to identify where they are in relation to what's going on and how they can really help. Not just cursory, not just a little text here or a share of an article, but actual, that Gaia's Mobile Task Force there, you know, getting on the ground, seeing, you know, there's been some countries that are now adopting mesh nets that they're putting on drain pipes to keep garbage from going into the ocean. That should be everywhere, but we need to have people on the ground in communities going to their city council meetings saying, this is important. This will help with clean water and sanitation here. And it's really a simple thing. All you need to do is have somebody come by every so often after a big rainstorm to dump out the garbage.
Yeah, but it sounds so simple, but people are so busy of being confused who they are and not being able to understand their own place in the world. So of course they cannot help. It's like a block. But this SoulSpark game, it's actually taking that away. Like you understand who you are, and then you're opening up this channel, and they can actually then maybe adapt these new concepts, because all of a sudden it's not just about me, I don't understand who I am, but I understand a little bit of who I am, and I can open and I can, oh my God, I can actually save the world by doing this. It's so simple. Yeah, I have a couple of $100, 2,000, 5,000, 5 million. I can do that, but these people are lost, and this is a way for them to find this. It's great. It's for anybody. It's great. It's great for even people that know who they are to just make it and to have it and to know what else they can contribute. It's great for anybody on any development. That's why it's so good. That's why it's so simple and clever, because anybody can do this. I sound like
that's what we're hoping.
I sound like I'm selling this. No, I'm not selling this. I just like it. Okay, but I put my email in the chat too. I put my email in the chat.
I see that.
To me.
I'm going to add you right now. I just wanted to make sure I let you speak and give you the floor. You have the floor. So now I'm going to add your email to the team.
And I got to jump in a moment. I need to jump off.
That's all right. And then you can go through this yourself at your leisure. And, you know, get back to me. Let me know when you feel you're ready to share your spark.
Yes, yes.
Well, I just want to thank you for being here today, being present and having such wonderful energy. You're bringing some great energy here. And we look forward to working with you and others to continue developing this so that it really does become so integral in society, because that's what we need. We need right now something that's really simple that helps that build up everyone's sparks again. Let's build up those soul sparks. Thank you.